Dela. Oh, Colleen, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm Colleen. Sorry about that.
Welcome to another episode of The Butterfly Effect. Actually, tonight is slightly different than usual. How, Colleen?
Well, Felicia couldn't join us live tonight. So what we decided to do was we recorded it last week, and then Dela and I will play the video for you today so that we can participate in the chats. Dela's going to be on YouTube and I'll be in the Facebook chat. So we'd still love to hear your comments, and so we can respond and chat with you on the online.
Great. So are we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and so let's go. Oh, yeah, so if there are any comments on YouTube, I'll be covering it on my phone. So there you go. All right, here we go. Hello, I'm Dela.
I'm Felicia.
And I'm Colleen.
Welcome to another episode of The Butterfly Effects. Today, we're talking about money mindset. Big one. It's a big one.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of people talk about money mindset. A lot of people have issues with money mindset. And, we're all working on it. We're all working on it all the time. I don't know about you. I'm working on my money mindset all the time.
Me too.
So I hope that you enjoyed this talk. I hope that you give us your comments, your experience, and how is it you think about money? Today, we are hoping to explore some of these different mindsets that we have grown up with. And at the end of the show, we hope that we can maybe spark a little bit of interest in changing and wanting to change the way we have been thinking about money, and hopefully we'll see some changes in our financial situations. So welcome back, Colleen. Welcome back, Felicia. Nice to have you on.
Thank you for welcoming. Welcome back, Dela.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be together again.
Yes.
So let's just jump right in, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. Where do we want to start, Colleen?
Well, as usual, we usually start with the definition. I have two for you today. The first one is specifically about mindset, and the second one is about money mindset. Okay. So mindset in general is your mindset is your collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your thought habits, and your thought habits affect how you think, what you feel, and what you do. So that's just a general what mindset means. So for money mindset, a money mindset is an overriding attitude that you have about your finances. It drives how you make key financial decisions every day, and it can have a big impact on your ability to achieve your goals. If you change your mindset about money, you tend to make better choices about how to overcome challenges.
Cool. So we're always in search of changing our money mindset, aren't we? I mean, I know that I've been on this journey for a while. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know that there was anything wrong with my mindset until I became aware of it.
Yes.
Right? That's step one, I think. What about you, Colleen? What happened? How did you find out?
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think that anyone who is not in a place where they're happy about where they are financially, there's usually something in their mindset that is keeping them, because our limitations are set by our limiting beliefs. So I just realized that I'm not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. So and I've done, I do the right things. I've done, I've had good jobs. I've done what I was told to do, and didn't get to the level of financial comfort, financial freedom that I had hoped for. So I realized that that's something that I would like to work on. How about you, Felicia?
Well, for me, in the last decade, actually almost two, I have learned that in order to achieve anything, I must first start with making a decision about what I want and focus on what I'm willing to do to achieve it. So I find that it's not only about being financially successful. It's about being successful, period. So truth is, we have so many different mindsets about everything we know in all aspects of life. Some of them are at the conscious level, so we are aware of them. Others are not at all at the conscious level, so we are not aware. It's not in our, if you may, maybe a awareness radar. Where do they come from? I think they come from what we learn from others, from our parents, like Colleen was saying. You learn them.
Yeah.
So parents teach us. We are influenced by the people that we surround or associate ourselves with most often. I don't know who said it, but the top 5 people in your life that you associate with, you become like them. That's what they say. And I like what Robert Kiyosaki says. One of our own, this is quoted, okay? One of our own powerful assets we have is our mindset. And if trained well, it can create enormous wealth. And to me, wealth is not just financial. It's on all aspects. It could be health, it could be emotional wealth, it could be financial wealth, right?
Yeah. I agree. The philosophies that we're going to talk about today about money mindset can be applied towards any mindset. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think, so it's just becoming, I think it's a matter of wanting or making that decision that I want to be aware of where my belief system is at. And of course, today it's about mindset towards financials or money. I find that there are mindsets in all areas of life, and we tend to go towards those that we learned and we are familiar with. So an example of it would be like people that have tidy homes. That tells you how tidy they are. And most often than not, it goes towards other parts of life too.
Yeah, so how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah.
And aiming to that. Yes, I was just going to say that. So, did you know, though, one more thing before I go? Did you know that 80%, it's estimated now, at 80% of world population wealth mindset has to do with the way we internalize things in our head? So in other words, our psychology, emotions, belief systems, behavior, and the last percentage, which is 20, it has to do with the mechanics. In other words, how we go about making the money. I didn't know that. Looking into it, I think Tony Roberts mentions about it too. Mind you, Bob Proctor, all of them. You said it, Colleen. So many, and Dela, so many out there.
That's so huge, though, because there's a lot of hope in that. Knowing that 80% of really how successful we can be, not just financially, but anything, but specifically financially, because that's what we're talking about, has to do with changing how you think about money. I mean, there's a lot of hope in that. That just means that so much of it is in our own control. And so hopefully we can dig deeper into that. So when I was growing up, I had a set of beliefs. And what I didn't know was that those beliefs stayed with me until my adulthood and until when I started making my own money and how I controlled my financial situation independently. And then one day I woke up and I heard someone say, how do you feel about money? And that was the moment when I became aware, what am I telling myself about money? Which was a huge awakening for me, because everything that came out of my mouth about money was negative. And so someone said to me in these exact words, if money was your friend, Dela, and you spoke about your friend the way you talk about money, would that person still be your friend? And I said, definitely not. Because hear this, like these were the things I was telling myself about money.
Yeah.
Money is evil. Money doesn't bring happiness. I don't need money in my life to feel successful. I don't need money in my life to feel happy. Or things that were internal, very internal, like money is hard to come by. Rich people are mean. Rich people are snobs. When that's your mindset about money, then how do you suppose you are going to become rich or successful financially? So those were the things I realized about myself. And it took a long time for me to get around those types of beliefs and changing those internal self-talks. So I'm very happy to say that today I'm in a much better place when it comes to that. But that's a result of work and work and work. So I hear a little bit of an echo still. Do you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so I hear when I'm talking, I hear an echo. So
I do
wonder,
hear
you
that.
don't? Okay. So I wonder if maybe you can turn down the volume of your speaker on your computer.
Is it better? Let's see. I
Let's
turn
see.
you down.
Can you hear an echo now?
No.
No? Okay, it's gone. Okay, good. So as long as you can hear, we can hear each other. Okay, good. All right. Okay, that's solved.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The reason there's an echo is because the voice from your microphone goes back into your speaker feed, and that's why you hear an echo.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So yeah, so that was me. So what were some things that you were telling yourself, Colleen, about money?
Well, I'd like to start by saying what for the audience specifically is that one of the ways that you can kind of uncover what your patterns might be, or some of your patterns might be, is to look at your patterns of how your finances are. So if you have a tendency to, earn money and then lose it, or, you have $30,000 worth of debt, you pay it down, and the next thing you know, you have $30,000 worth of debt.
That was me.
Yeah, I used to work at the bank. I've seen a lot of patterns.
Yeah.
So if you have a pattern, then there's something in your mindset that you are setting that limit, right? So if you have a tendency at some point in your life, you've decided that if you have, I spend more than I earn, right? So you will always be in debt because you've already decided that it's impossible for you to live within your means, that you're always living outside of your means.
Mm-hmm.
And you've decided you're comfortable with $30,000 worth of debt. And that's why every time you get to 30,000, you pay it down and then you rack it back up to 30,000 because that's your limit. Mm-hmm. So what would happen if you made, and this is Amanda Francis, what would happen if you change that mindset to, I'm comfortable having $1 million in my bank account? Now, she says, obviously, you don't have to start with the big numbers. Do it in increments because it's like everything else. You need to learn to be able to handle that in order to maintain it. So somewhere, if you look at the patterns that you have, are you in debt consistently? Are you I'm talking about the negatives because generally it's the negatives that you want to change. If your balance is already consistently $1 million, you're probably going, you've already got the mindset and you're probably already on your way to 2 million, right? Like you're already in that mindset. So you know how to reset that balance, that limit. So for me, I think I was always taught, money is hard. It's hard to earn money.
Yeah.
Like you, rich people are not nice people.
Mm-hmm.
So what in the world would I want to be a rich person, right? My unconscious mind will stop me from being that rich person because I associate that with arrogance and being, having to step on people around you. So those are some of the things I think that I have very much the common ones of our generation, because our parents grew up with parents that went through the Depression. So while we're many, many years away from the Depression, we're still getting some of those, you've got to be very careful where you spend your money and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I
Yeah.
think it's very common. How about
Yeah.
you, Felicia?
I think this brings me to think about a different mindset personalities, because I find that it bleeds into everything. As I said, the mindset for money is the same mindset that we have for health, for the way we look at anything in life, really. And I've learned that one of the majority of the population mindset personality is referred to as poor man personality or poor man mentality, because we are taught how to work for others, how to trade our time for money, time and skills for money, and to live paycheck to paycheck. So nobody discusses how to invest, how to save. It's all about making the money, spending, and even borrowing. This poor man mentality is about spending, spending, borrowing for personal pleasure consumption. So you get into this habit of spending money, you may end up even spending more or a little bit before you're even making it, because you know you're going to make it. And I find that this, or I've learned rather, that this comes from a main feeling within that there is not enough. Either you're not enough, or you don't have enough, or you don't know enough. So I find that it's there are so many different kinds. So it's the poor man mentality. There is no debt at all means, which you Colleen touched upon it. Some people focus is like, no matter what I do, I don't want to collect debt. So they're people that think like that. They make their money, they pay all their fixed bills, and they save money more than they spend, and their focus is not to collect debt. But again, they're not thinking of, if I have savings, why don't I invest the money so that way it grows and I can create that wealth, that growth. And others have they are not neither in these two categories, and they go through saving, no matter what saving. They call them minimalists, because they learn to live with the minimum they can possibly can, and they pay all their bills that are fixed, and they continuously save for rainy days. And then we have the rich mentality. And those people somehow, they feel that they are responsible 100% for their financial success. They look to learn and get educated about money, so that way they can start investing and taking risks. But it's all, the risks are not random, because they educate themselves first. So I find that the financial success is the direct result of being driven, working hard, and learning how to leverage whatever available funds you have or resources. They use all the resources they have at their fingertips, be that technology, be that friends, be that, you know what I mean? Do you see how this could impede upon anything we do in life, not just money? But then again, it comes back to that mindset of how we are being brought up. There are people that will never invest, or maybe invest in little things like or secure investments, such as, and probably Colleen, you know more about this, retiring saving plan and mutual funds, and you can continue on because you know a lot more than me because you work in the bank, you said.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
So that's a different talk.
What's that?
That's a
Sure.
different talk.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's so many clients that I would come across, and we talked about investments all the time. Like, that was a conversation I had with every single client. And absolutely, people had set beliefs about what was acceptable. Like, some people, they'd rather keep it under their mattress, right? Like, I'm keeping my money at home, I don't trust the bank.
Yeah.
And other people would be I'm only doing GICs, and I would say to them, that your GIC is actually losing because your money becomes less valuable because you're earning less than the economy is changing, right? Like, inflation is going up at this rate, and your money's going up at this rate. So you're always behind the ball. But they were like, no, I'd rather be sure
Yes.
that what I have isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just, you're absolutely right. People have a very set, when it comes to investment specifically, they have a very set belief system about
fear.
what's,
We fear because it's what we learn from growing up and seeing the people around us. So if we have people that they have this rich mentality, as I said earlier, then they see their parents, their cousins, their uncles, their aunts, everybody has a business, everybody is investing, everybody is like, taking risks and, learn to be perseverant no matter what. You fall, try again, nothing is the end of the world.
Yeah.
You have the others, like just every penny, put it under the mattress and keep it safe there for really just in case.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that. And in my case, believe it or not, minus the rich mentality, I've been in all of them and having to study and get into the personal development courses. And I've learned to focus differently, but I'm not nearly what I want to be. So I'm working on myself, like you, Dela, said. And I find it is like a thermostat, because it's almost like, how we put the heat in the house in the winter and we put it, let's say, whatever it's more comfortable for us, let's say 22 degrees, and something happens and you open the window or the doors or the kids leave it open or whatever, something happens and it gets very, very cold. What happens to that thermostat that it's set at 22?
It brings it back to 22.
It brings it back to 22. And if you, let's say, you bake for a half a day or a whole day, and instead of being at 22 now and the windows are closed because it's winter, and it gets to, 35. What happens? It's set at 22. So no matter how much heat you put in a house, it's going to stop. It's going to regulate itself to that 22 time set. I think it's the same thing with our mind. No matter how, unless we work on challenging our mind, right, and find ways to bypass that setting that was instilled in us as we grew up. Yeah, it's the same. I find that it's the same like the thermostat.
I like that analogy.
I agree. That analogy is absolutely perfect. It you just explained what I was trying to say about setting that internal limit. Like, you just explained it perfectly. Thank you.
That's really good. So a lot of people have set mindsets. Okay, so and it's a lot of times referred to as scarcity or abundant mindset. I think that's a pretty normal term that we hear talked about. And so with the scarcity mindset, that is exactly what you were explaining, is that, we're so afraid. It's the fear, right? It's the fear of not having enough, not being able to make more, like it's limited or something. And so there are two phrases that I know that most people can relate to, and if I said it, you can probably finish it. And so, money is the root of all evil, right? We hear. I mean, I'm sure everybody can relate to that. Somehow they've heard it at one point or another. Or money doesn't
grow on trees,
right? Yeah. So those are things that we have heard so many times that it's almost like internalized, like that thermostat. So we need to change those. And so I've tried to change those for me. And so now it's not automatic anymore. When I hear money is the root of, I don't say that. I don't say that anymore. I've changed that around in my own mind. So what are some things that you have done? So each of you have done in order for yourself to change that scarcity mindset to more of an abundant mindset. Now, let's talk about money specifically, if we can, because we kind of want to hear your personal experiences so that maybe someone could benefit from that. So we'll go to Colleen.
So I'm actually fairly new in my mindset shift in regards to money. I have been working on my own personal, my perception of myself for so long that this is actually, this piece of the puzzle's only just started. And I think that's why I suggested it as a topic, is because I'm reading all these things, I'm watching all these videos, I'm doing all this stuff, and it's like in the forefront of my mind. So I haven't actually implemented a whole bunch of things yet. I'm still in the first stages. So I can relate to anyone who's watching who is in the first stages of doing this. So, but some of the things I've seen consistently in all of the different, and I'm reading Amanda Francis's book. I'm reading T. Harv Eker, which is probably a name that people have heard. There's a whole variety of there's so many actually right now that I'm coming across, but those are the two that the two books that I'm reading currently. The thing you said it, the first step that you have to do is you have to notice what it is, what your current thought processes are about money. You also have to know what you want. If there were no rules, what would your financial situation look like? And we have all these, like, for me, there's a whole bunch of things that I have to overcome, in that if I want more than I need, it's selfish. And that's something I have to overcome. So that's one of the limiting beliefs that I'm in the process of trying to overcome, is that it's not selfish to want more, because I know, and that's, challenge those. So that's how you overcome some of them, is you challenge them. So I know that by having more, it gives me the opportunity to give the world more. And I know that that's just the way I am, that it won't be a selfish thing. So so recognize what my beliefs are, challenge those beliefs, make a decision that not only do I deserve it and is okay for me to like it, but make that decision that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And then put it in place. And it has to be a daily, almost a ritual, where you remind yourself. And like you said, like, you used to think this way, and then now you're not. And that only happens with practice. So it has to be something that I consistently do. I just wanted to share, I have somewhere here, the Amanda Francis has, there's a thing that she does in her daily ritual where she goes, when she decides that she wants something, she does those other things that I just mentioned, the decide what you want, understand what's holding you back, and decide what your new reality is, and then shift your mindset by challenging it. She also speaks to God, the universe, whatever, and says, how are we going to bring this to me? Because she's in the mindset that it's going to happen, and then she says, I'm willing to do my part. What is my part? And then her statement was in the book that you have to be like, it's not necessarily going to come in the way that you think it's supposed to. So trust your intuition. It might be a silly thing. It might be something that you wouldn't think of, but trust your intuition. How is this going to come to me? I'm willing to do my part. What is my part? And then do it.
Love it. Love it.
How about you, Felicia?
Yeah. So before we go to Felicia, I want to answer a couple of those questions.
Cool.
So when I decided that I no longer believe that money is hard to make, I decided that my new reality would be money comes to me in many different ways. And so that I made that my new reality. And it's funny how it happens, because it doesn't happen exactly how you envisioned, right? So it happens in different ways. Like All of a sudden, I started making money from my Zoom kickboxing classes. All of a sudden, so which was something that I had not imagined that I would be doing. All of a sudden, I started teaching podcasting, and I started making money from teaching people how to podcast, how to make their own podcast. And my book, and I started making money from residual from selling my books on Amazon. So all these different ways of making money, which a year ago was not at all in my plans, and so many different ways. But it's so true. There's so much truth to what you just said, Colleen. So sorry, Felicia, to you.
No, sorry at all. This is amazing. Actually, it's thanks for sharing, both of you. I like Colleen I have invested a lot of time in personal development, and I vouch for the first and foremost is to want to make that choice of making personal development a priority and constantly read, constantly take courses, constantly choose your coaches wisely or people you surround yourself with wisely. And what I find that worked for me along the years, and I'm not, as I said, not nearly what I want to be, but I'm working every day at it. And like the thermostat, that's why I brought that as an example. I found that I make progress, and then something happens, and I'm either getting emotional, or I'm either tired, and I default back to that mindset that I've had prior to learning different ways. And then I have to work hard again. It's not like that process that we've talked throughout our this past year of having this show. Almost every topic, it's like a process. You can't just forgive and forget. You can't just change overnight and then stay like that. So to rephrase it, or to kind of bring what I'm trying to say here is personal development. It's a priority if you ask me. And I think everything is important, but I keep on saying the most, but another important factor is to really know what you want. So make a decision that, first of all, you're ready, you deserve to be successful financially and otherwise, but in this case, financially. And I find that it's important to let go of any standards. Once you know what you want, find out who you are. I think find out your values, what you stand for. And also analyze your fears, your weaknesses, not just your strengths. So that way you know, like I said earlier, there are moments in my life when I sort of fall back to that default mindset process because something happens. I'm triggered emotionally, or I'm tired, right? And I'm aware of it because I've been adamant of paying attention. What makes me go back to that thermostat set of that mindset? So by knowing yourself well, you know how to manage yourself in those moments of weakness, because we can possibly be at our 100% best every single day unless we work at it. And another step I think that's crucial is to train your brain to stay positive. So be that beginning of the day, or be that at the end of the day, or be that both beginning at the end of the day. Think of positive things, at least 2-3 things every day that you have experienced that day. So you can retrain your brain to look for positive things. And then gratitude is huge for me. I find that the more I'm grateful for what happens, even the little things, sometimes you forget. I've noticed myself more and more, and I have a gratitude journal, but sometimes, like I said earlier, I keep a period of doing everything very disciplined with everything I do, and I write and I study, and there are times when I just don't manage it. And instead of getting upset with myself, which I used to in the past, I said, okay, I don't have the time right now to write, but I've created a way to think. Even if I have to drive and think about it, no problem. I'm grateful that I have a car. I'm grateful that I can, I live in Canada and I have it's safe. Anything, even silly things, like I'm grateful that I have water to drink, that it's clean, So those are the things that have helped me. And I'm actually looking for a coach to helped me maintain this and learn more about particularly financial wealth and success, because I'm noticing patterns that on my own, even though I'm learning and I'm taking courses and I'm reading, like Colleen, you said you're reading, I still go back to that thermostat set. So I think sometimes we need a little bit of help from others. We can't do it all by ourselves. So I hope that helps.
So admirable, right? I mean, you both are coaches and you're still learning every day. I mean, that is truly a leader, right? And that's a sign of a true leader, is a leader who is constantly learning. So congratulations. I mean, me too. I'm always learning.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is that in T. Harv Eker's list 17, what does he call them? Wealth something or other. He's got a list of characteristics of wealthy people. And because he said that wealthy people and people that are not wealthy, and he defines wealth not necessarily as your bank account, but it's the way you think about money. And he said the people that are wealthy are continual learners. That is one of the things that is consistent, is that people that are wealthy are continually learning. And you mentioned another one earlier about Felicia, you mentioned earlier that wealthy people know that they are responsible for their own money. They're not victims in anything. They do not accept a victim mindset. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that really spoke to me about with Amanda is that when we set that limit, so she was talking about when she first started this process, is that for her, like I think $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month was her. She said that would be okay. That would be acceptable to me. That would work for me. And then she reached it like almost right away, because she decided that that's what she was her limit. Like nothing less than $3,000 or nothing less than $5,000. And then she quickly got to $10,000 and then to $100,000. And so for her, she said, it's just a matter of making that decision of resetting your limit. And it's neat. So the book, I love the way her book is set out, because she goes through the chapter, and at the end of each chapter, she has the exercise that you do. And so it's answering questions. And I like homework. I think that honestly, learning new things requires repetition and requires action. And so I'm really looking forward to doing this. So over the next few months, or in the next month, or however long it takes me to read her book and do the exercises, I can't wait to share with you guys.
Yes, I think we're gonna reconvene and
yes,
how
my mindset
where we are.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's great, right? That I mean, and you're sharing all of this. So big shout out to Amanda for this book. I mean, why not? I mean,
she's the money queen. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So she even in her book, there's a lot of swear words, which took me a little bit to get used to, but she I can't even say the words because I don't think Facebook allows us to swear, but but yeah, so she does a lot of, she says you deserve it, and she says it with some very affirmative strong language.
So I want to go back to something that Felicia said about gratitude, and gratitude is a big part of my money mindset change as well. So for the longest time, I, like most people, resented paying bills or spending money, right? We resent it. I can't believe I have to pay. Like, I can't believe my gas tank cost me like $50. And so a big part of learning to change this was, I'm grateful that I have a car that I need to put gas in, or I'm grateful that I have a home that I have to pay the hydro bill for. I'm grateful that I'm healthy, that I can walk to the grocery store or go to the grocery store and pay for my groceries. That's even available, because a lot of people in the world don't have these options, right? And so this was a big part of my attitude change towards money as well. And so I'm going to give you a few things that I've learned that I practice all the time, if you care to know.
Yes.
Okay, so these are all learned behaviors from different coaches. And so I'm going to say their names because they have been crucial in my learning. So my friend Satna, who's the millionaire mom, and you both know her, she taught me to put a fresh $100 bill in my wallet, and just don't touch it. So it's always in my wallet. And that to me means I have money. And I always have money because that $100 bill stays in my wallet. So that was huge for me, huge. Because a lot of times I used to like walk around and thinking, oh my God, if I get stuck somewhere, I don't have any money. And that I don't have any money is scary to me, right? So that totally has changed that self-talk. Another thing is I learned from Dr. Joe Vitale. And so he said, and he kept on saying this to himself, that for every dollar he spends, it's another way. The more I spend, the more money I receive. So that's huge, right? Because instead of thinking that's limited, it's flowing. It goes out and it comes back. It goes out and it comes back. Someone also, my friend Mernaz, who is another law of attraction coach, she also taught this to me, that she puts smiley stickers on her credit cards and on her bank cards. And every time she pulls out the card to pay for something, that smiley face reminds her of how lucky she is. That she's able to pay for things, because for the longest time I didn't think of money as a tool, and now I totally understand that money is just a tool, and so that has completely changed my mindset. So these are the things I do on a daily basis that have allowed me really to be in a totally different place, as far as money is concerned. So I hope you take one of those things.
I like those. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And Dela, that reminded me of Deepak Chopra meditation I've done regarding mindset of money, particularly money. And one of the tips that stuck to me, and to this day I do it, and it's so funny, because if somebody sees me doing this, they laugh. They say, "What are you doing? You have to throw the receipt out." So this is the trick that he said. Any receipt, any money you spend, you write on the back of the receipt, every money I spend on myself will return 7 times more. So I started doing that with every single receipt. And I no longer feel like I wasted money. Doesn't matter what I buy. Like it's an interesting concept. And like you said, I've noticed that money goes and money comes back. Like I used to have that fear, oh my gosh, I don't want to use my money. Like it's almost like if I have cash in my hand, I could not go spend it. I had to have it in my hand. If I use a card, different story. Very, very different. And since I started doing this on receipts, I don't feel that. Like it's almost a liberating feeling. Like, oh, it's going. I spend it, but now it's going to come back 7 times more. So yeah. Anyway,
it's so interesting. So I have a flower shop, and at the flower shop, still, believe it or not, some people still pay cash, and so I've changed so much, you guys. Like I've really changed a lot now that I really pay attention. Is when I get money from people's hand, when they hand me that money, I really treat it with respect. In the past, I may have gotten the money and not even without thinking, I would put it in the cash register, backwards, side folded, however it came, I would just put it in the cash register, right? You hate that. I know bankers hate that. And so when I learned to treat money with respect, I took the money from the customer, I actually said, thank you for this tool, and I would make sure that they face the right way. You like that, Colleen? And I put in the cash register. And when I'm paying for something, if it's in cash, I take it out of my wallet very respectfully and I bless that money. I really do. I say, may this bless you and every hand it touches. And so, I mean, it has changed tremendously. I cannot tell you how different I look at this now. And so it doesn't scare me anymore. Do you know what I mean? In the past, money used to be a source of agony, a source of fear for me. I should say not having it. But that's how I looked at it, because it always came from that scarcity position. So,
isn't it amazing though? I'm looking at you talking, and it's amazing you say I've changed, but what you've changed is to think and therefore feel different. Because nothing is changed. You do the same thing. You pick up the money, you put it back, you give it away, right? So anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. So I don't know if that relates to any of you, but that's truly how I used to do things and how I do things today.
Actually, I've learned now that I'm going to pay attention and see how I treat money. If I treat it with respect, or if I have any feelings attached with giving, spending, or receiving. I have noticed, however, that in the past, now I've noticed, because I'm working on myself, if, let's say, with my profession, if somebody comes and I will, have a treatment and they will give me money, particularly if it was cash, it was almost like I couldn't receive it. Like it was so weird. I could not take money. I would say, oh, no, thank you. It's fine. It's on me. And I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing? I have a business. I have kids to feed at home. I have but this is what I will do. Literally, I was saying, no, thank you. It's on me. It's go figure. Mindset. Think about mindset. It's almost like I don't deserve their money, So yeah, it's
so interesting. Colleen, you've been quiet.
Well, I'm just absorbing all of this because I'm at the beginning of my stand. I love what you said. Everything that you said really, it reinforces all the stuff that I'm learning. Like, you've been putting it into practice and it's changed your life. And I love that because I'm just starting. So I'm developing my own processes, and hearing what you do is super helpful. So thank you.
Well, Colleen, I want to mention one thing. I overheard you saying that this particular book you're reading, the way she goes about with creating that list of how to go about to manifest the money she wants.
Mm-hmm.
So you make the decision and then you look at how I've learned that the how is not as important as what you want. And I've learned from different people, different books, different courses, that it's so important to be specific and clear. So in other words, saying I want more money. Okay, here is the 25 cents more than what you have. Is that good enough? Right? So it's like saying, no, I want to have $10,000 this month, or for the rest of the week, or whatever. But be specific.
Yeah.
And not necessarily worry about how you're going to go about there, because Dela.
No, I agree with you. She doesn't. She says that she asks God for her. She speaks to God. So she asks God, how is this, not for him to answer how, but just to put it in the universe that this, that has to be determined. Right.
Which is amazing, because Dela just mentioned, she said that she just thought about different sources of income, and here they come. She goes, over a sudden. But guess what? It's not over a sudden.
Yeah.
No.
Work at it. It seems as if it's over a sudden, right? It's like that reward that people have. Athletes, they come and they go to they become gold medals at Olympic, competitions, and people say, wow, but they forget of how much work that person had to put in.
Yeah.
To come in front of us and show that amazing performance.
Yes, it's a one night success is not a one night success, right?
Yeah.
It is never like that. So You both know about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
And so in that book also, they talk about the definite major purpose. And so how it needs to be clear to you. So just like you said, it's not, oh, I want more money. It's, really be specific in what is that amount to you, and have it, if we're, if you want a certain amount of money by a certain amount of by a certain time, you need to be very specific. So write it down, he says. And also write down how you're going to receive that. I don't think he meant specific ways, but you always need to give something in order to receive something. So I guess by serving. Yes, how you're going to serve, right? And so he also mentions that. And so he says, write it down and read it to yourself every morning and every night. And keep repeating it to yourself until it becomes really clear in your head that this is exactly what's going to happen. So this book was written in the 1920s. And so this is probably one of the most read books in the world in history. So also in that book, there's a lot of different really cool tricks in changing your mindset. So there's a lot of help out there, and I always come back to my 3 A's, my triple A formula, right? Awareness, ask, and action. So until we are aware, nothing will happen. And I think that's the first step. If you're uncomfortable where you are, ask yourself, why? Why am I uncomfortable? What's happening to me right now that I'm not happy with? Because if you're happy, you're happy. If it's working for you, Colleen always says, how's that working out for you? So if you're happy, perfect.
Yeah.
Help other people. But if you're not happy, ask yourself how, why, what's happening?
Yeah.
And so that's where it starts. And then ask for help, ask for the help of a coach, ask for someone, who can help you, and then take action steps like, every day.
I think it's ask the person that already achieved what you want to achieve.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And that is a consistent
go to the
message.
mechanic and ask him how to, mend your stomach issues. The mechanic ain't happening. It won't help you, basically, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And another thing that resonated me with, and I apologize, I keep talking about Amanda Francis over and over, but that's the book I'm reading right now. So
that's what's in your head right now.
But one of the things that she said, and you just touched on it, was that when we have those feelings, we have, and this is something that I used to do in the past, is that when I used to have a feeling, and she speaks obviously specifically about money, but it applies to everything, is that we have a tendency to push it down, ignore it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not convenient right now to deal with that. And you kind of set it aside and you set it and forget about it. And she said, when you're trying to reach a goal, is that you have to acknowledge, accept, right? So thank you for, she said, whether it's an egoic thing, thank you, ego, for trying to protect me, or, but receive it, accept it, and then create a new thought processes, right? Like, so, work through it and move past it, because every time you bury it down, you're not dealing with it. So it stays in there forever, right? Until you address it, it's there. So that was one of the messages. And you kind of touched on it there, where that it's important that when you have those thoughts of, I'm not good enough, or I'm, whatever those thoughts are for you, I don't deserve $500,000 a year. What? Like she said, stop, listen to it, say, thanks for trying to protect me. And that's BS. You know what I mean? Like, of course I deserve $500,000 a year.
Yeah. So,
and it's that sort of thing. So, thank you. Yeah. You just touched on that again. It reminded me of that. There's so much stuff out there, right? There's
so cool. where do you want to see yourself? That's my question to you, Colleen.
For me, and I think we've talked about this, I don't know if but for me, I want to be able to, in regards to money, I want to be able to live my life without even it being a thought. I don't want to have to think about it. I want it to just be available. And I want to be able to do what I want to do without having to think about money. Ultimately, I would also I have so many charitable things that I want to do. And you might be, leaning towards that. I want to create, these are two of my dreams that have been in my mind for the last little while that I get very excited about.
That's it. Put it out there.
Yes, put it out there. I talk about it all the time with my close group. So I'm glad that I get to share it with the Butterfly Effect group. So two things. One thing, I want to create a place, and it's funny because, I write in my journal about how I want to do this, and it used to be one place for a specific place, but I want to be able to create them wherever there are homeless people. I want to create a place where homeless people can go, they can get warm, they can get dry, they can get showered, they can do their laundry. It's not necessarily a shelter for them to sleep, but it's a place for them to connect with each other, connect with people, maybe play some games or watch TV or whatever, have a movie night, a game night, whatever it might be. But for a place for them to get clean, get warm, get cleaned up, whatever it is that they need. And it's a resource center. So if they want to, learn how to do something or speak a language or whatever it might be. I don't know what the specifics are about all of that. I just want a place for them to go where they can feel like they're part of a community and where they feel safe.
I love it.
And then my other dream is I'm a country girl. I grew up in the country. I love the country. And I want to have a place where to camp, although I like glamping. So cabins and versus tents, but I want to have a place where families can go and reconnect with other families. Like dinners are in a common room, right? Like everybody goes to the same place for dinner. We all eat together. We get to know one another. We play games together. Board games are a big thing in my family. I don't know. But we love it because, we get to communicate. Sometimes it's very loud, but I want to create a place where families can reconnect. And, cell phones, devices are just left to the side. And you just spend time, around the campfire, doing canoeing, maybe having a karaoke night, like whatever it is, but families spending time together and just, meeting new people and spending time as a community. Community is very important to me, and I want to create communities. So those are two things that I dream about. And so when it comes to money, I want to be able to do that. It might be my money. It might be investors' money. It might be, government money, whatever it might be. But those are the things that I get excited about.
Excellent.
What about you, Dela?
What a nice clip. I feel like I've talked so much. First, we'll go to you, Felicia, and then I'll answer.
So, thanks for sharing, Colleen. It's exciting. I can see your light shining through, and then your passion for this. So it's beautiful to see that. And the question is what I want to do in terms of money or in terms of life, passion.
So what do you envision for yourself? What do you want money for?
So I'm envisioning multiple sources of income because I think it's important to not have to depend on one and not have to ever worry about the basic needs. And I have a huge serving heart. And if I know that I don't have to worry about paying the bills and the mundane daily things, then I can serve a lot more people and open up charities and work with people that don't have the mindset or don't have the opportunities that I've had and create opportunities for those that don't have it. And in particularly for me, because I'm in health, I'm a health practitioner, I like to teach people how to take care of their health and change their mindset from what the society has been brainwashing us to believe that, let me teach you how to take care of your disease. So change that to, why do I have to learn how to take care of the disease? I want to learn how to take care of my health so I no longer need to take care of the disease. I can enjoy life. I can be myself. I can, so those are, sits in my heart to go out there and provide I don't have yet, I'm working on it. I don't have yet clarity or the exact outcome that I'm looking forward to. And perhaps that's why I'm not there, because I haven't gotten there yet. So I'm on my, I'm on baby little steps, I think. But I'd rather have a baby step forward than stalling or going backwards. So that's what I
Love
want.
it. So you are actually the perfect person to talk about being proactive and taking care of yourself, your body, your health, because you walk the walk, but you also talk the talk that you walk the walk for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so definitely, I mean, I can see you do that because you do have a big heart and you always serving people, and so isn't it beautiful to be able to serve without without having to, without any expectations, and I mean, I think all of us, we do that in our own way, but we all have big dreams of serving multitudes of different people, and so that's why we want money. That's what we want money for. Yeah, I'm not one for big diamond rings or like fancy schmancy stuff, although I might enjoy it. My passion lies with my shows, and so it's really, really important to me that I keep them going, and sustainability of the shows require healthy financial situation, and so I expect to be in a healthy financial situation and keep it going so that I can pursue my dream of making these shows bigger and bigger and bigger so that they can reach more people. And that is really, really, really what I want to do. So, we're on our way.
I want to mention one more thing, because really, if you don't have financial restraints and you have abundance when it comes to financial situation, you are able to also enjoy anything you do. You travel. I love to travel. I would love to just go everywhere. I have a lot of places on the bucket list, and I'm praying that this pandemic will just disappear shortly and things will come back to somewhat whatever normality might be after this pandemic, but such that we can still go and enjoy, the Caribbean, or the places where we live in Canada. Here is so cold, like even in the summer, like you go from 40 to 5, and you put your winter clothes away only to take them out the next day because you do not know, like you really have to have. So I'm dreaming to be able to do that and take friends and family and have fun.
Yeah.
Can we go on a trip together, ladies?
I was gonna say we could do a butterfly show from the Caribbean.
There you go.
under those big palm trees with lots of
flowers. All butterflies around us.
Yes, it's beautiful thought. Let's do that.
Let's start dreaming.
Yes, and with that, our show's ended, and I want to thank you both.
Wait, we have to tell them what is the next one.
Yes, when is our next one?
I didn't look at my calendar.
So yeah, we haven't checked for our next one. August. Let's see. Third Thursday of
19th. August 19th.
August 19th.
Perfect. So our next rendezvous is Thursday, August 19th. And we'll announce all of that. So thank you so much, ladies. With that,
this is the butterfly effect, bringing you love,
hope,
and compassion.
Thank you for joining every night.
Thank you,
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
What about that?
That's awesome.
What a great
that is
show.
Very weird. What's that?
That was a great show, I must say.
I really liked it. The only thing is, every time you'd ask me a question, I would have the
You wanted to answer again.
Answer you in the moment, forgetting I already answered that
That's
question.
So good. That's so funny. I really actually enjoyed this. I was able to, comment back to some of the viewers, and it was just fun being able to engage in the commentary. So I really enjoyed that talk. You know what? This is a really important topic, and I know that we tiptoe around it, and a lot of people don't want to go there, and it's one of those things that we just want to, sweep under the rug and not talk about. It's very vulnerable. So it takes a lot of courage to being able to talk about this and really share our feelings and our sentiments about it, because it's important. And it's really important to share so that we can all benefit from it. Because if I'm feeling this, I bet you 99% that someone else can relate. So I'm so glad we had this talk. And so thank you so much for suggesting this topic, Colleen.
Well, it just occurred to me, I wasn't going to share this, but I'm going to share it now. It just popped to my head. So I've been thinking about writing a book about understanding finances in Canada. So I'd be curious if anybody out there is interested in that sort of something to read, to be able to understand the terms, when somebody says amortization, like, do you know what that means? Like, a lot of people, I think the terminology and finances can be very intimidating.
It's lame. Yes, so
and
true.
Having worked in the having worked in the bank, I found myself explaining terms that as a banker seemed like common knowledge, but that's what I do, right? Like, so I thought I've decided I want to to write a book just to understand, if I want, what questions should I ask when I'm looking for a new mortgage? What should I be looking for when I look at a bank account? Like, why would I go with this institution versus this institution? Why do I pay this service fee? You know what I mean? Like, different things like that. So
I think it's brilliant, my friend. I think you should do it. Yes. The more knowledge, the better we're off. So, and if you can explain those really different words and really hard to understand words in layman's terms so that the rest of us could understand, I think so many people will be blessed by it. So yes. Do it.
Thank you. It's going to happen.
Yes. You call it Colleen's Money Talk. Oh, what?
Well, maybe we'll start a podcast together.
Yes, so there we go. Well, we really miss our butterfly sister, Felicia, tonight, but she's away and enjoying some much needed rest time with her family. So we wish her the very best. And for the people who watched us tonight, who, commented and you left us your beautiful, loving, encouraging comments. Thank you so much for coming along with us. And so, Colleen, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this tonight. We could have just played the video, but we really treasure our audience. And so I'm really glad we did it this way.
I'm glad too. So we were, although we weren't exactly live, but we were live. So, so there you go. Okay, so we are going to see you on August the 19th, the third Thursday of every month, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with another engaging topic. See you soon. And for everyone who's joined us, thank you again for your generosity. And we want to wish you the very best. And we will see you very soon. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.